Tonight on Air Rescue,
She needs to get to a hospital.
Crisis at Sea.
Until you actually see them, you don't quite know what you're dealing with.
They were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary,
We had to make some crucial decisions.
and now the helicopter is running out of fuel.
Worst case scenario for us is finishing up in the water.
The motocross daredevil
Chris swerved and got tangled into the other bike.
spins horribly out of control.
Otherwise, I'm well boy. Dude, settle. Ow!
And saving Digger Bluey.
He's used as one of the guinea pigs when they were doing the atomic bomb test back in the 50s.
Is this the war veteran's final fight? The Westpac Rescue Helicopter Base, Lismore. An urgent call has come in from the Australian Maritime Search and Rescue Service.
Okay, where is the vessel now?
A cruise liner carrying a critically ill passenger is 290 kilometres offshore.
It's a long way out to sea. The critical thing here, guys, is fuel and time.
She's a 60-something-year-old lady who's basically got a perforated bowel. You need to go to theatre. If you don't treat it, you can potentially get overwhelming infection, which can be serious and fatal.
Even with a full tank of fuel, they'll only make it halfway there. Pilot Rob has asked the ship's captain to turn back towards shore.
We have to rendezvous with the ship. They're presently 180 miles out to sea. They're doing around about 18 knots towards the coast. We need to intercept them about 70 miles offshore. That's as far out as we can go with the fuel that we've got.
Guys, you all sit in the back? Sit in the back.
All set.
Dr. Rosie's biggest concern for the patient is infection from the perforation. It's a life-threatening medical condition.
It's always hard to rely on somebody else's description of a patient. Until you actually see them, you don't quite know what you're dealing with.
This is the patient, Deanna. She and her husband Kevin were on their second cruise together, celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary.
Cruise line is about 80 miles offshore. We're right on the limit of our fuel as far as getting the job done safely and getting back to the hospital. Worst case scenario for us is actually finishing up in the water ourselves. We don't want to do that for any reason.
Rob will need to keep an eye on the fuel gauge. The Australian Maritime Search and Rescue Service is sending a fixed-wing plane from Melbourne to monitor the rescue.
Last 50 miles offshore, it's in our operations manual to have a top cover aircraft. There's a number of reasons for that. Main reason is safety. They have life rafts on board that they can dispatch to us. Second reason is communications. And thirdly, they act as a retransmit facility. So if we can't talk to the ship directly, we can talk to them and then they can talk to the ship, which is pretty important.
A few things have to come together. We have to be in the right place at the right time, and so does the ship, and so does the top cover aircraft.
This mission needs to be executed with military precision. Deanna's life depends on it.
Tracking towards Wood area, Westpac 2.
The crew of Westpac 2 is on its way to Wootton in New South Wales. This is cattle country.
So we're flying to a 14-year-old boy who's fallen off a dirt bike.
Type of injury you expect during school holidays, really, isn't it? Motorbike, quad bike, push bike.
He may well live there, he probably does it every day.
Maybe.
15-year-old Chris was dirt bike riding on his mate's property when he clipped another bike. His bike fell on top of him, crushing his leg. The crew of Westpac 2 need to get in and out as fast as they can. Bad weather is closing in.
Try and sneak around the edge of that. Looks like we're between those two storms.
That's not their only problem.
I think he's in pretty difficult country as far as we can tell.
The local area is heavily wooded and the fields are uneven.
Do we know if this is a winch job or is he an open paddock?
The patient is in an open field, but the ground is slanted, probably approximately 20 degrees. There's trees to the left, right, north and south of us.
I may not be able to land there, might put you out in the hopper. And just coming around onto the nose now.
Landing a helicopter on uneven ground is dangerous. The blades can drop below head height.
It's rolling from the right to the left. Typical.
Pilot Gandhi has to come up with another plan.
Okay, moving in.
However, the slope in the paddock is around about 20 degrees. So what we're going to do is put one skid on and one skid off.
It'll sort of like be skids light. Okay, and then we'll relocate.
It's a delicate landing.
One, and just touching on now. Do not move up the hill. Move parallel to the hill towards the patient, okay? Copy that. Flight's good, position's good. You're happy there in the hover? Okay, happy there. Clear out.
The crew gets straight to work, while Pilot Gandhi finds a safe place to land.
Okay, mate. What's your name?
Chris.
Chris. I'm Mark, this is Scott. So he's broken his helmet, so he's had a fair impact.
I broke my new helmet.
Okay, well, at least it did its job.
Yeah.
They've given Chris pain relief, but before they can move him, they need to assess his injuries.
Can you wiggle your toes for me? Beautiful, well done. How does it hurt so? I bet you it does. Yep.
We're making a pretty rapid assessment of this boy because we're pretty concerned that the weather's closing in. There's a lot of thunderstorms around. If we stall too long, probably not get out of there. Where are you sore?
I broke my leg.
Okay. Are you sore anywhere else apart from your leg, Chris?
Okay. Early indications suggest he's fractured his leg. Chris needs more pain relief.
We've given him some drugs so we can move him. It's somewhat hallucinogenic, so he's behaving fairly oddly.
I'm allergic to bull ants.
Okay, righto.
They hurt really lots. What's this thing?
It's okay. It's just so they can give you some more stuff.
Right?
Yeah, don't touch it.
The pain medication is taking effect, but it's also affecting Chris's behaviour.
Mum said no allergies that she knows of.
Okay, otherwise a well boy.
Dude, listen, settle.
He's hypersensitive and agitated.
Relax. Ow!
Are you happy with that position?
In the small town of Wootton in New South Wales, Westpac 2 has come to the aid of Chris, who has come off his motorbike at high speed. Chris has been riding dirt bikes since he was a toddler. This was him yesterday.
Chris and Josh were going along side by side, and Chris swerved and got tangled into the other bike, and they just slid for ages, and the bike landed on top of Chris.
Chris is spaced out. The pain medication has made him hypersensitive and agitated.
Never had anything.
Dude, settle.
Paramedic Scott tries to calm him down.
Relax. I know you've got some medication on board. For us to help you, you need to help us a little bit as well, okay? Our job is to make your leg better and get you to hospital. Do you understand? Thank you. I need to get the scene moving very quickly in case we do get some heavy weather. Getting him focused on what we need to achieve in a very short time. Ow, okay. Ow, ow, ow.
Okay.
You all right?
I think we're good to go.
Good to go? 1, 2, 3. Don't drop me, man. No, not today.
The trip to the helicopter is over bumpy ground.
Ow! Ow, it really hurt my leg. Lord.
We'll be able to keep it nice.
Ow! Oh, man. Oh, it really hurt. Who's the pilot? What's his name?
This is Gandhi.
Hey, Gandhi.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
They'll make it out before the storm hits. Just.
We'll depart out just to the north of that large tree.
Can we clear the cows?
Yep, they all ran off.
Lifesaver 2 is heading to a cruise liner 100 kilometres out to sea.
We've been heading out over the ocean, so we're anticipating that we might be able to spot the boat soon.
65-year-old Deanna has perforated her bowel. The cruise ship doctors have done all they can, but this is a life-threatening condition.
We know she's got a bowel perforation, and that can potentially make you pretty unwell. She needs to get to a hospital.
Our biggest restraint is the fuel for this mission.
At the moment, we've got around about 800 litres of fuel. This aircraft burns roughly 300 litres an hour. We have to depart the scene once we get down to 500 litres.
Pilot Rob needs at least 500 litres of fuel to reach the hospital.
If we haven't got that 500 litres, then there's no point hanging around.
Because the cruise liner is so far out to sea, the search and rescue plane is on its way from Melbourne as backup. Should anything happen to the helicopter, they can rescue the crew.
We're about 50 miles offshore, guys. We should be starting to see the ship come into visual range soon.
Finally, they spot the ship.
Oh, I think I can see that, yeah, that looks like the ship just up there. Look, it's heading the right way.
This is going to be a hair-raising winch.
Yeah, looks like they're ready for us.
Reducing speed. Clear doors.
Then I'll have Mitch select the winch. And now bringing the hook on board.
The winch is prepped, but there's no sign of the search and rescue plane. Pilot Rob has no time to waste.
Just slow your speed a little bit, Rob.
Yeah, mate.
All good.
The top cover plane has arrived in the nick of time.
Rescue 431, we're commencing our winch operations now.
Rescue 431 descending to 1000.
172, copy.
The top cover plane will stay with the helicopter for the duration of the winch.
Guys, we've got 20 minutes of overhead to ship time. That time window was pretty critical.
Paramedic Brian has had 13 years experience with high-risk rescues.
For me, when I look into Mark's eyes, I hand him my life for the next 2 minutes until I'm on the deck. Which is why whenever I do winching, I always wear a clear visor because I want him to see my eyes.
I certainly appreciate when you are attached to that hook, you're at the mercy of the pilot and the winch operator, and until your feet touch the ground and you disconnect, you can't do anything.
Brian is on board, now for Dr. Rosie. Portable comms are necessary so Rosie can communicate with the helicopter from the ship.
And putting it outside the door. Clear, winch out. All running well.
They've got about 15 minutes to get the patient off the ship and into the helicopter.
Once their feet hit the deck, they'll just move straight into a room where the patient is, package her up pretty quickly within 10 minutes and have her back out on the deck and ready for the retrieval.
The fuel level is now critically low.
We're down to 500 now, so we can make some crucial decisions.
Pilot Rob may have no choice but to head back to shore and refuel, leaving Deanna and the medics on board the ship. The crew of Lifesaver 2 is in the middle of a deep ocean medical retrieval. Deanna is critically ill and needs to get to hospital.
How's our time going, Mark?
Fuel is a major concern. The crew is on deck securing Deanna to the stretcher, ready for the winch.
Hey, Brian, can you hear me? Rosie, can Brian hear me?
Crewman Mark has lost contact with the medics.
Rosie, you there? We need to keep on top of this, mate.
There's no time for delays. They need enough fuel to get back to shore and reach hospital.
We'd better get this going.
Mark needs a thumbs up. Rosie is ready. This is the riskiest part of the rescue.
Back up a little bit, mate. Just back and left slowly.
Winching has its dangers with it. You're relying on your aircraft engines to hold that helicopter still, and if something was to happen to one of those engines, there is high risk then to whoever's on the cable at the time.
patient and Dr. Rosie are in, but they've still got to get Brian. A successful winch under serious pressure.
Rescue 431. Thanks very much for your help there. That was fantastic.
The search and rescue backup plane is released from the mission.
Great job, Brian. Great job, Rosie. Did it in record time. I'm very impressed, and high fives all around. Well done.
Deanna is on her way to hospital for a life-saving operation.
We're off to the Gold Coast, but we've got the fuel. It's fantastic. Good team effort.
The Westpac Lifesaver Base, Tasmania. And an elderly man is in a critical condition.
That's an 86-year-old gentleman who's had a fall down some stairs at the Lake St Clair National Parks Visitor Centre.
Charlie's an ex-ground paramedic.
This is my first flight. Just completed a pretty intense month course, and this is the first time I'll get to put it all in practice.
The patient is suffering from severe chest pains.
Given his age, it's quite easy for them to hurt themselves after any kind of traumatic event. Because he has chest pain and is struggling to breathe, that's obviously caused concern. So it sounds quite serious. Time is of the essence.
86-year-old war veteran Bluey was at the Parks and Wildlife Centre when he tripped and fell down some stairs. He has a daughter and 2 grandchildren who love him dearly.
Okay, about 3 miles to go. So where are we landing at?
In the car park in front of the visitor centre, there's no ambulance there, so there's not a lot of option.
No, I've got the car park. Roger, I've got that at 3 o'clock now. Yep.
The staff at the Parks and Wildlife Centre have cleared the car park.
Yep, got the wires. Well, you clear the land out. 1 and red there. Right, 1 down, right down. Roger. You want to go, Charlie? I'll stay here.
Rookie Charlie will need to prove he can handle the pressure.
Hello. Charlie's my name. What's your name, sir?
Louis.
Louis. I'm just going to have a good feel of everywhere. Yeah. So have a look at what you've done to yourself.
Bluey has a nasty gash on his head from the fall.
Looks like you got a bit of a bump and a cut up under there. Yep. A bit sore there, is it?
Bluey has quite a significant hematoma to his right region of his head. My big concern there is that is there an underlying fracture or is there a bleed in his brain?
But there's another worrying issue. Bluey is having difficulty breathing and has severe pain in his chest.
You got some pain?
Has he had a heart attack? Is he having one now?
All right.
86-year-old Bluey has fallen down a set of stairs on a remote trail in Tasmania.
You got some pain?
And he's complaining about chest pains.
So it's the pain that you've had in your chest, is that similar nature to the chest pain that you've had in the past from the heart or different?
A bit stronger than normal.
A bit stronger than normal.
And the angina, I've had angina before.
An ECG test is the only way to check the condition of Bluey's heart.
He does have chest pain, so, my main concern there would be to rule out that chest pain didn't cause the fall.
Retirement village manager Bob is distraught to see his old mate in so much pain.
I've known him for 20 years and he's our longest resident. He's been there over 30 years, so it is upsetting to see him here. We had 20 other people on the bus. They were all upset.
Bluey is well loved in the nursing home.
He is a real character. He was in the Navy and was used as one of the guinea pigs when they were doing atomic bomb tests back in the 50s. And he's suffered ever since with osteoporosis and cancers and things.
Bluey's ECG looks to be normal. There's certainly evidence of old injuries looking at his ECG, and I can see that his pacemaker is working.
With the check of Bluey's heart coming back normal, he's not had a heart attack, but with possible bleeding on the brain, Bluey will need to be taken to hospital. Charlie checks his patient's medical history before flying.
So what else can you tell me about your medical history?
I've got 40 operations if you want it.
40? So you've had...
Not all major.
So you've had an aneurysm, you've had a bypass, you've got a new shoulder.
In fact, a lumbar laminectomy.
Laminectomy, yep. So Bluey has a significant medical history, and in particular, significant cardiac history. So he's had heart attacks before, he's had open heart surgery, he's had aneurysms in his aorta.
The main thing is that we don't lose our sense of humour in it.
All right there, Bluey. We'll start looking at getting you out if you're all right.
He's a tough old bugger. He bounces back. He's always been a real musician and singer. He's famous for his what a wonderful life. That brings everyone to tears whenever he sings that, so hopefully he'll be back singing that next week.
For rookie Charlie, today is the reminder of why he became a paramedic in the first place.
I was one of those guys through high school that didn't really have a clear understanding of the direction I wanted to go in. After school one day I was driving into the city and the car in front of me struck an 8-year-old boy who ran out onto the highway. And yeah, just that overwhelming feeling of helplessness. You know, watching the paramedics do their thing and just kind of lit the fire for me, and you know, here I am in my dream role. I've always wanted to be on the helicopter.
Got the rainbow yachts. Yeah. I don't know if Bluey can see that.
7 weeks later, the team receive a special thank you from Bluey.
I'm feeling a lot better, but improved immensely. A special thanks to the chap that sat with me on the helicopter on the way down. I thank them from the bottom of my heart. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Fit and healthy now. Fit and healthy now, singing tunes. Yeah.